Jackson Lee for 5 minutes.
I thank the chair very much and ask unanimous consent to submit statement into the record, revise and extend.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, we've often turned to Lincoln. My good friends on the other side of the aisle have tried to be Lincoln-esque, but I don't think they have dug deeply into the virtues of Abraham Lincoln. They didn't deal deeply into his sense of courage, integrity. We know that his ultimate goal was to preserve the Union as it should have been. He was, in fact, the President of the United States of America, not of the Union States, not of the Confederate States. But often as they pretend Lincoln-esque, it is abandoned along the trash heap of highways of despair. First of all, the Build Back Better is paid for over 10 years, in contrast to the debacle voted on 2A1 by my friends on the other side of the aisle of the Trump tax cut, 83% for those who were already flourishing in dollars. It left the bus drivers and teachers and paramedics, nurses and emergency room doctors along the highway with tin cups. Any plan for embellishing staffing, and that's what it is, for the Internal Revenue Service, which we should continue to have oversight, is to ensure that those who have paid not a dime, Mr. Speaker, pay their fair share. Do you think any American is against that? I have seen Republicans, Democrats, and independents who are crucially asking the question, am I carrying the entire burden? And then my friends stand stalwart Republicans. They are not going to raise the debt ceiling. First of all, it is the full faith and credit of the United States. Read the Constitution. It is to ensure that America's bills, money already spent, are paid. Just like you use your electricity, you're paying ahead of time. You're paying for the bill already spent. The electricity light was on for 20 days. You're paying for that light to be on. I'm sad to say that there's so many who can't make ends meet, can't pay the light bill. I've heard it often. Can't pay rent. Can't pay the water bill. So I'm going to start with two icons from different eras about the words courage. Abraham Lincoln, who eloquently spoke in 1862, and he was a both visionary writer. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. All that we talked about, all the contentiousness of yesteryear, you need to put it aside. The occasion is piled high. This day, this night, this 2021, this in the midst of a national health emergency is piled high with difficulty. And we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so must we think anew and act anew. We must disenthrall ourselves, and then we shall save our country. Is anyone here willing to save their country? Are they willing to join as Americans to save the country? I know 2022 is coming. Great campaign ads about what Democrats did. I'm glad that my term analogy will be what an American did by the name of Sheila Jackson Lee. What did she do? Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. Iconic and the late Maya Angelou, that I had the privilege of teaching me. What a great memory I have of her being my professor. And so I want to speak this morning on the cruciality of moving forward on the Invest Act and the Build Back Act. Without a doubt. I want to be able to not give short shrift to the 2 years of free pre-K and 2 years of free community college, paid for, giving Americans the front end and giving them the opportunity to be able, for some, to be in college for the first time. Then moving on to historically black colleges, of their choice or other colleges of their choice? And what about the federal Medicaid program when 12 states failed to opt in during the Affordable Care Act and left a trash heap of desperate people, not the people desperate, but on the heap of despair, no health care, because they were below the threshold. Our friends as well decided not to do anything. Finally, Mr. Speaker, how important it is to have the INVEST Act with making sure we have broadband and making sure that we have high-speed internet and as well highways that work not against us but for us. So let's do the right thing, have the courage of Americans. Let's stand for America. I yield back.
The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Iowa.